Hello and welcome to the Business Spotlight Series, episode 46. I'm here today with Raunaq Savur of Chelsea Burger. How are you doing today, Raunaq?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I know you guys just finished up, or no, you're still open now, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, we are open from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m.
Very nice. Well, I appreciate you finding some time in the middle of the day. I see you're right there in the dining room, so who knows? We'll come by and see you doing, as you said, your entrance into Hollywood here. So, yeah, that's great. Well, as always on the Spotlight Series, we love to start out with a little bit of background on you and the business. So why don't you tell us what brought you here to West Middle?
So, it's been a long journey, but I think I'm exactly where I need to be right now. I moved to Ann Arbor about 10 years ago and immediately fell in love with the area. And when I say area, I mean Washtenaw in general. I am from Los Angeles, but I love the seasons. I love the trees. I love everything. You know, it's great. And I've been in the restaurant industry for coming on 21 years. I took a job with Eve Aronoff over at Frida Batidos, and then I worked with a couple of restaurants called Monty and Isalita in Ann Arbor as a general manager at times. I loved it, but the one thing about the restaurant industry is that it's long hours, and when you're working, everyone else is off, and when everyone else is off, and when other people are working, you're off, so you never get a chance to have much of a social life.
Sure.
And it can harm family life. So about 4 years ago, I quit my job and I started my own catering company, which is called Savur Catering. And I've been doing private events for the last 4 years. So this is all going, and I have a good friend that I met at church, and he loves food. I love food. We automatically talk about, what we're going to do. And we have this great idea about opening a taco place or a pizza place or a burger place. I think it's simple. And, I always thought it was kind of pie in the sky. And Paul Fredenberg is his name. Not only is he a good friend of mine, but he's also my business partner and the primary owner of the restaurant. But, lo and behold, Paul was a tenant of this building when Randy Seitz owned it. And he was upstairs. And, Randy and his wife and the Seitz family and the tavern has been a fixture here in Chelsea. And but even Randy, he was done. I think it's safe to say that he wanted to move on, and he wanted to kind of enjoy the rest of his days. And I don't think he's retired by any means, because I think he's got too much energy for that. But I think he wanted to kind of take a different road.
Sure.
So Paul would talk to him, and it just came about hey, he was tired, and Paul said, hey, let's just do it. So he called me on a Monday, and we bought it on Wednesday.
Oh,
and the next thing you know, we're the proud owners of this amazing old historical, storied building.
Yeah.
And here we are. Unfortunately, well, you know what? We're open right when we need to be. We're here now, nearly a year and a half after we started this project.
Yeah, I know. You guys built up a lot of anticipation. I got to touch on a couple of things you mentioned there. One, I was lucky enough right after taking this job to have your catering at an event at the Total Wellness ribbon cutting.
Oh, yes.
Now, and at that time, you guys had already acquired the building, from what I understand, and we're moving forward. Now, it took some time, but I knew right away, eating the food that you had brought to that event, I was like, well, this is super exciting, because that was so delicious. And I know it's a lot different than what you're doing at the place, but you can always expect a level of, professionalism and quality. You see it in one side, you're making a different kind of food at the burger shop, but you're still seeing that same quality. And so I just applaud you. It's so good. And now, are you still doing the catering on the side?
I am. I've sort of handed the reins over to my sous chef, Darren, and he is, even with what's going on with Corona and, the weather and everything, we've been blessed to have some amazing guests who still use us. And, it's instead of having the large gatherings, we're very limited, and we do things with a little bit, the protocols are different. But, we do 5 to 10 course meals for 5 to 20 people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and it's very different from what I'm doing over here. But I think at the end of the day, the idea and the philosophy is the same.
Right.
You gotta send out good, consistent food that people feel comfortable eating and enjoying. And at the end of the day, I've always believed food brings people together, whether it's a 5-course meal or in a burger house.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And consistency is the name of the game. People are going to decide what they like at this place or that place. But if they like something, they come back and it's not what they wanted, and not, what they got last time, you're never going to make it in this business. So I can completely agree. Well, that's great. And I wanted to also mention, you mentioned that you guys are in the site's location, and it's not so much that you moved into a historical building and opened a new restaurant. You went in there and you made it your own, but you held on to some very specific, unique aspects of what made sites is great. What you want to run through a couple of those for us, some of the stuff you held on to.
Absolutely. I think it's really important in any industry, in any business, especially when you're moving into or coming into or starting a business in a small town. I think it's really important not to forget the past. I think if anything, it's important to, to not only remember it and honor it in a small way, but to keep it going.
Yeah.
And yes, we're a completely different kind of a business, but you know what we do? We have a place that you can come and relax, no different than Randy did, or his father or his grandfather.
Right.
So knew that if we got rid of the bar or if we got rid of the Sites' Tavern, we would be very kindly escorted out of town. So we decided to do those two things, and we did it not just because we felt forced to do it. We did it because they are really sort of not only statement pieces, but when people come in, they see the bar, they see the sign, and they see the difference and the change in what we have done. And I think they're impressed. I hope they're impressed. Now,
I was.
There are always going to be people who said, I had so many great memories at Sites, and how you guys came and kind of took it over. And I'm not going to disagree, that I will never take away someone's memories or what their fond memories of a place. But I think it's time for us to start making those memories now too,
Yep.
And we're not going to forget Randy. We're not going to forget his family. We're not going to forget this building, and we're not going to forget what it used to be. But now I think this building it's time for another chapter, and we're excited. I mean, quite honestly, once we're opening up and once we decide to do a little bit more of a grand opening as such,
right,
I would be very surprised if we don't involve Randy and his family somehow in it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so great. They were, as you said, a major staple of the community, but times change. And like you said, it's time to start making new memories there under the Chelsea Burger name. And I think you guys already have with some of the things you've done right off the bat. I did want to touch on, we hit on it a little bit, but you guys just this month did expand your hours to dinner time. So you're going through 7 o'clock, and you have some plans moving forward as we get into warmer weather to extend those even further, right?
That's right. So we were blessed to have an amazing reception from Chelsea, and the neighborhood, the people who live here, the people who live in the surrounding area have been excited about what we have to offer. And that first week, we really got rocked, And it's interesting, and we're so grateful for it. But we want to have an opportunity to sort of take it back a little bit and really perfect what we have. We've been hearing a lot of great things on social media, but you know what? To be perfectly honest with you, we haven't been able to please everyone. I cannot please everyone, but I'm going to try my hardest to make sure I do the right thing. And if we make a mistake, and we're making a lot of them right now because we're a new business, I'm going to go out of my way to try to correct them. So rather than go full bore, let's open up the dining room. Let's go all the way till 9 p.m. Let's open up slowly. Let's make sure that we are walking before we can run. Our goal is come summertime or even late spring, when the bikers are out, when the schools are out, when people are a little bit more comfortable going out, that's when we can truly shine, because our burger is good, but it's so much better when you get it right off the grill, when you get the nice crisp, when the shake is just nice and thick and icy. We love that. But so we have anticipated that we should be fairly busy in summertime, and to make up for the demand that we may have, we need to increase our kitchen, which is like the size of a matchbox right now.
Right.
So we decided to go ahead and look into getting a mobile kitchen of sorts, putting it in the back, utilizing some of the parking spots that are ours, and put out some patio. We're not gonna and then have like another option for guests to come and get like a quick bite, not stand in line, not have to be inside. They can just go and say, I want an original, I want a shake, and I want fries, and they get it in 5 minutes, because we're not doing modifications. We're not going to be like, I want this, I want that. If you want the original, you want a shake and fries, you go out back, you grab it, and you're out of there in like 5 minutes.
That's awesome.
We have a lot of ideas, but I'm so excited, and Paul is so excited that we tend to, like I said, we tend to want to like run before we can crawl, let alone walk. But I think we have also sort of taken it back a bit and realized the most important thing right now is to not only create a good product, but create that consistent product that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, and that's super exciting. It'll be sweet to see the possibly Airstream or something out there doing that, and that makes perfect sense. Now, you touched on some of your menu items right there, so I did want to just kind of hit on that again. You've got your CB original, you've got these great fries, you've got the shakes, but you also have a couple other items on the menu that I know are quite tasty.
We do, we do. So our plan when we opened was to have a cheeseburger, fries, shakes, and sodas, and that was it.
Right.
You know, and we really were going to even just say like, guys, you can get it our way or forget about it. You know, you're welcome to try something else. And our way is the caramelized onions, house-made pickles, lemon garlic mayonnaise, and cheese. You know, and tons of cheese that just melts right into it. But we realized at the end of the day, if you're going to pay for lunch, you might as well get it the way you want it to. You know,
Right.
we suggest getting it our way, but if you want it with lettuce and tomatoes, it's not going to be bad. It's just going to be a little bit different. So then we realized that, you know, Chelsea has a huge demand for not only vegetarian food but vegan food, and also for gluten-free products and things that, you know, and allergens. I think a lot of people are more aware that, well, I think they're more knowledgeable about food. And as a result, you know, we as restaurateurs need to be able to meet those needs. So we went ahead and did a black bean vegan burger, which has quinoa, beets, and black beans.
Nice.
It's all made in-house. Yeah, sauteed onions, peppers, and then we crisp it up. And then we also, one of the guys who's sort of in charge of, let's call it quality control, he's been working with us in the beginning to really sort of like perfect what we do. And he and his, you know, he on a weekend he'd always like just fry up some chicken and eat it. So he came up with this amazing crispy chicken with a sort of buttermilk and a little bit of Frank's Red Hot and, you know, a little bit of a batter mix. And we put it between two pieces of toast with the sauce and the pickles, and it came out so well that we had to do it.
Yeah.
And then you know,
it's great.
It is really good, and that's the one thing that I'm really happy with in regards to consistency. The burger's not always consistent because it's you know, we don't buy frozen patties.
Right.
We buy, you know, I mean, we actually had to go to Ohio to find a bakery in Ohio. Oh, maybe I shouldn't be saying this in Michigan, but we tried everywhere in Michigan, and we tried to find buns. We tried about 100 different buns. And it just didn't work out for what we wanted. So we found a bun company, and they provide us with their buns. It is our hope to start making our own buns. But right now we want to get, you know, we want to take our time with that.
Yep.
And even the beef right now, I know I'm zoning on, but I love talking about food. So
you're good, man. I love it. I can talk about food all day.
Yeah. So the beef right now, we get, you know, we're actually, we're getting local, when I say local beef, it's Midwest beef. And what we're doing is, Paul, who has a 55-acre farm right on the border of Grass Lake and Chelsea, has actually bought some cows, and we are going to be using some of his grass-fed organic cows that are going to be butchered according to like USDA standards. And we're probably going to be having like specials that utilize that grass-fed beef.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Probably like a chef-driven game menu where we do a different game burger, things like that. And the reason we're doing that is to kind of keep it fresh and let us stay like, you know, let us kind of try to do something different. And it keeps me as a chef excited too. But we're not going to do any of that stuff until our burger is 100% where we want it to be. Right.
Like you said, walk before you can run.
Yep.
Well, that makes perfect sense. It's great. And it is nice to see you guys not trying to do it all at once and, you know, really lock in. So, well, that's awesome. You know, we put into the comments here, people can follow you on Facebook and Instagram. And one of the things they're going to see on there is a special event you have going on this week, basically.
Yes, absolutely. One of the workers who works here, just out of the blue, came up to me and he said, "Hey, I'd like to give roses to some of the frontline workers, specifically the doctors and the nurses at St. Joe's and some of the senior citizens." And you know, I'm not going to make any assumption, but sometimes senior citizens are forgotten, and you know, and it's easy to, you know, well, I shouldn't say that. Either way, I want to give, you know, I want to make sure that they have a little bit of joy in their, you know,
sure.
Provide them with some joy, and we want to show some thanks. So we bought 600 roses from the Chelsea Flower Shop, and
nice.
We're working over the next 3 days to sort of wrap them up and make them a little bit, you know, less thorny. And we're going to give them to the 2 senior living centers, as well as many as we have left over to the doctors and nurses over at St. Joe's. We're trying to find a way to logistically get the doctor, get the hospital taken care of, because we've already talked to Silver Maple and all that. But it should be really great, and we want to do this. And we have some, you know, we have some local companies that have all helped out by giving, you know, giving a little bit of money, and we matched the money that the local companies gave. And you can see all those companies on not only our Facebook page, but also on our Instagram.
That's great. Yeah, that's such a cool idea. And you're right. You know, I know it is. You feel bad that they might get left behind a little bit. Sometimes you're thinking of Valentine's Day and stuff, and it can mean so much to somebody to have something as simple as a single rose delivered. So I think that's really great. And I applaud you guys for putting in that extra effort, and props to your employee as well as you for always being open to listening to ideas from your employees and stuff. That can, again, be something that gets lost in the fray and can be so important to running a successful business. So that is super fun. And yeah, as we said, we put that stuff in the comments. So feel free to check out Chelsea Burger's social media to see that and a million other things, as there's some good pics and stuff of the food in there too, if you haven't got a chance to stop by. All right. So we've covered so much information here, but there's one more thing when you guys are able to open up that you're going to be doing that just has me super excited, because I'm a nerd, and especially old time gaming and whatnot. You guys are going to be putting an addition into the place that is what?
So what we've done is, I can't believe that, like, this was actually from the get-go. Paul and his son Peter thought about it. So they went and found an old Galaga machine that has about 20 to 30 old arcade games on it. And it's a sit-down machine. It's not one of those stand-up ones. So it will actually blend into the rest of the dining room, and you could sit down and play Galaga and enjoy your food and just have a good time. And the idea is, when you come in here, when it's finally time to dine, guys, like, just sit back and relax. We have a little table setting area here. We're going to put some cards. We're going to put some stuff like that, just so that you can enjoy yourself. Like, I get it. Like, everyone's on their phone all the time, and I don't expect you to get off. But it would be nice when you're here. I mean, grab a burger in one hand, a shake in the other, play some Galaga, and just kind of remember, like, this is simple food.
Yeah.
You can have fun. You don't need to complicate things, really.
Nope, I love it. I think that's so cool. I don't know. I just love that we don't have a lot of arcade games around town or anything.
Oh, no.
There's a nice arcade at the Arctic Breakaway and stuff, so that's always cool. But that is just something very cool. And the classic style, and I know what you're talking about, the tabletop ones are just super nice. And I like that you thought ahead to, like, well, we don't want to ruin the ambiance, so let's make sure it blends in. So that's very cool. Well, Raunaq, thank you so much for coming by today and talking with us. It's so cool to hear all the stuff you guys have going on. I can't wait for the summer to roll around, see the Airstream, see the place open up, the new Galaga game, see some, different stuff going on. So thank you so much. I love that chicken sandwich, man. I got to say, I'm just going to throw it out.
You got to try the new buffalo chicken sandwich now. It's amazing.
I will make sure that happens. That's great. Yeah, well, thanks for coming by, Raunaq. Thank you to Grifka Marketing for sponsoring and facilitating, as always. We'll see you guys all next week when we're going to have Manpower of Southeast Michigan stopping by. Thanks. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you later.
Take care, guys.